What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another live stream. And today we'll be looking back over the game as Arsenal beat Girona over there in Spain, secured qualification to the next stage of the Champions League. And we're going to talk about transfers. The whole Ollie Watkins situation is unraveling itself. I made some quite, how should we explain it? I made some observations last night about it. Some of you agreed with me, some of you didn't. I'll be honest, I think we're going to talk about it in more detail, but I think it is what I said it is, people, to be honest. And what I mean by that is that I don't think we can take that offer too seriously. And we'll delve more into it, into more detail. Obviously, Matisse Tell, it doesn't look like we're getting him, despite the fact we're in talks. We're definitely not the front runners to get him in, people. Big up to everyone locked in. After the show, make sure you go and watch the transfer special that I did with Ben Jacobs earlier on this afternoon. That's out there. I'll link that up at the end of the show as well. But he said some very interesting things. You know, he definitely doesn't think that Ollie Watkins will become an Arsenal player in this window. And something that he actually said in that interview has come out since, where he actually said, listen, this £60 million fee that we're being quoted, I actually don't think it's as much as that. And it appears to be true as well. So we'll delve into that. Also, the other thing, people, is what do Arsenal do now? If we have made an offer for Ollie Watkins, whether it's 40 or 50 or 60 million, clearly Arsenal have some money to spend. So I'm looking at what is going on now, you know, because you can't then show us that you've got money and then fall back and say, well, we didn't buy anybody. A lot of people were a little bit frustrated last night. They were saying, come on, Curtis, you've asked them to spend money. They've made an offer. They've showed ambition, and you're still criticising the club. And I'm sorry. I felt like there was reason to still criticise the club because we are supposed to be one of the biggest football clubs on the planet. There is a way that you are supposed to do business. You need to understand the situation before you go and make offers, and you need to make serious offers. Now, making an offer for Ollie Watkins when Duran is about to go to Saudi doesn't look great. However, they might have been trying a thing. Listen, if we make a decent offer, will Aston Villa sit there and go, actually, we'll keep Duran because he's 21 and he's got a lot of potential, and let Watkins go to Arsenal? So I understand that. They tried something. Cool, no problem. But the problem is, reports now coming out today that we didn't offer 60 million. It was less. And also, why have we waited until the 29th of January to make an offer for him? We've needed a striker since day one in the window. What was the plan? You know, there's players out there with release clause. I just don't. I think this is what happens when you buy a multi-billion-pound company and you put inexperienced people in jobs of high authority. What does this Jason Ato guy know about top-level Premier League football? What does he know about it? You know, he's trying to earn a job. He's doing his apprenticeship. And to me, I think what happened yesterday with Ollie Watkins, I think will end up becoming a bit of an embarrassment. I think it will be a bit of an embarrassment. I think this is like a Luis Suarez all over again. We made an offer. Villa is like, what are you doing? Get out of it. But anyway, we will see. We will see. But as I said, go back and watch the show with Ben Jacobs. And, you know, I was trying to get some insight off camera. From what he was saying was Saudi Pro League window closes on Friday. They knew that the Duran deal was making progress, so they threw in a bid for Watkins earlier in the week, thinking that Villa might want to keep Duran because he's younger and therefore let Watkins go to Arsenal. So I do see what they were thinking. But if you're going to do that, you've got to turn up with serious intentions, people. Put big money on the table and put them under real pressure. We're going to speak about what that offer actually looks like, and it doesn't look very good. Takan said, honestly, mate, you made me laugh during the past couple of weeks. Really appreciate it. Easily the best YouTuber. Big up, Takan, man. I appreciate that. Arsenal Future said, greetings, brother C. We never do things properly when it comes to transfers. It's been like this for time. It has. We've seen it before. Mark said, we offered Sesko in the summer transfer window. Leipzig rejected and we didn't buy a striker. Hopefully not this time. Do you know what, bro? I'm actually going to quote you on that. I appreciate the comment. Sesko had a release clause. We were rejected by the player. The player said he didn't think it was the right move for him at the time. From what I hear, they've rejected us now. But yeah, big up. Matt Southern-Guna, do not be fooled. They're prepping to unleash the newest and greatest youngster from Budapest. I think we're already at the point where we kind of understand this may not go the way we want it to go in this transfer window. Big up the Twitch gang as well, as always. People on Twitch always say, yo, man, you don't acknowledge us, man. Always YouTube, man. Don't forget about Twitch. Respect it, man. I respect it. Big up the Twitch gang as well. And as always, people. Yeah, Thomas Lamar, £90 million offer on deadline day. Monaco was selling to everybody, but we couldn't get him to come to Arsenal. It didn't make sense at the time. But listen, we're going to buy in. And I told you, did I not tell you yesterday, Arsenal are dropping new merch today? And they dropped new merch today. They don't get Ollie Watkins, but we've got new merch. What is this new merch? Something to do with on the terrace merch. Yeah. Anyway, let's move on. We got a lot to talk about. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. Let's not mess about. We know what time it is. Ollie Watkins FC, people. Ollie Watkins FC to Arsenal. This was what was revealed last night by Fabrizio. Aston Villa have rejected today an official bid from Arsenal for Ollie Watkins. Proposal around 60 million turned down. Villa not happy with the timing of the bid ahead of a crucial Champions League game. Villa are also in active talks with Al Nassr for John Duran. Now, we found out afterwards the offer was on Monday. The offer was on Monday, but it came out on Wednesday. Now, did Arsenal leak the news on Wednesday to try and apply pressure? They knew that Duran was heading closer to a move to Al Nassr. So we're not so sure why was the deal leaked at that time. It felt like a bit of a desperation move to try and apply pressure to Aston Villa. Villa weren't happy. They did win the game last night. Watkins got a goal and an assist. He also missed a penalty. He slipped over as he went to take the penalty. Interesting, yeah. Xavi Simons has signed on a permanent for Leipzig for 68 million. Does that mean Leipzig prepared to sell Sesko? Sesko was on the bench last night. Leipzig went out of the Champions League. I don't know. We'll speak about that later on in the show. However, Matt Law today coming out and saying Arsenal's first offer for Ollie Watkins was £45 million. Well-placed insiders believe Aston Villa value him at more than £80 million. Now, I'm sorry, people. And you're not going to want to hear this, all of you. So I'm gonna give you the option now. Other channels are available. There's an X in that top right-hand corner. If you are of a nervous disposition, if you are a serious Mikel Arteta fan, or you have posters of him on your wall, do yourself a favour. There's other channels that will save you. They'll wrap you in cotton wool. Let me tell you something. Offering £45 million for Ollie Watkins is a complete embarrassment. Now, people will go, oh, it's negotiations. You start low and you move up high and you meet in the middle and you get the deal done. £45 million is not even a starting offer. It's not even a starting point, people, to get this deal done. And furthermore, we know that Duran is on his way to do a medical to sign for Al Nassr. So we're up against a time limit here. We're up against the clock. The moment Al Nassr signed John Duran, you ain't getting Ollie Watkins, people. This deal is a joke. It's a joke. Yesterday, I was actually being a bit kinder because I was like, you know what? 60 million for a 29-year-old. You know, he's a boyhood fan. You know, that is a respectable offer. It at least asks a question. £45 million, bro, for their best player. Their most important player, their vice captain, their top goal scorer. You thought Villa were going to say, yeah, go on, have him for 45. It is PR nonsense. Absolute nonsense. And this football club have been doing this to this fan base for well over 10 years, people. Making stupid, embarrassing offers for players to try and appease the fan base, to buy themselves time. That's all Arsenal are trying to do here. When they didn't get Caicedo, they started leaking stories about Declan Rice because they wanted us to calm down. They know we're 4 or 5 days away from a meltdown when that window closes on Monday at 11 p.m. They know the meltdown's coming. So it's going to be, well, we tried to get Ollie Watkins. They did show some ambition. What are you complaining for? That's the stuff that they'll tell us. That's what they'll tell us, people. So, I'm sorry, embarrassing offer. You've embarrassed the club. Jason Ato, mate, doing your apprenticeship as sporting director. Hand in your resignation and walk out, mate, because you're not up to it. Yeah, this football club needs a serious sporting director, and they need to make their mind up whether they want to win trophies or whether they just want to compete. Because right now, you're moving like Tottenham used to move. When we say under Poch, yeah, they're a good team, they play good football, they don't win anything. We're supposed to be bigger than them, more ambitious than them. We're meant to be winning the title. Stop lapping up the nonsense. They know what they're doing. It's manipulation. Is it a coincidence? We won a game of football last night. We had an offer turned down for a player. There's a little bit of excitement. Merch drops the next day. This isn't a coincidence. People online going, oh, do you think Arsenal would put offers in for players if they weren't desperate to sign them? Is there anybody in the chat that thinks Aston Villa would have taken 45 million for their best player? Anybody? Now, let's put it in perspective. Ollie Watkins is 29 years of age. He turns 30 in December. So, realistically, 60, 70 million is good money for a player of that age. It is. However, he's on a 4-year contract. He's their most important player, especially if Duran goes. Now, listen, let's put things into perspective. Fabrizio's saying it's around 60 million. Matt Law's saying it's 45 million. We don't know which one's certain, right? Ben Jacobs was saying on the show he doesn't think it was as high as 60 million. So let's say it's 45, 50 million, whatever. But because they were up against time, they had to come in serious to get that deal done. They should have made the move earlier. Matt Law's not an amazing reporter either, so this may not be gospel. But what I'm saying is, if this is who they wanted, the move should have been earlier, it should have been big, and they should have put Villa under loads of pressure. But they turned up late, and it hasn't helped them. It hasn't helped them. And now we look a bit silly, because we're going, well, we tried to get Watkins, Duran's on the move, and now we haven't got the deal done. So it doesn't help us. It doesn't help us. What I will say, people, is, are they going to move in a different direction now? That's the next thing. Do you move in a different direction? If we can't get Ollie Watkins, but potentially we've offered up to £60 million, I don't expect Arsenal to close on deadline day and go, well, we tried to get Watkins and couldn't do anything. Go and buy Victor Osimhen for 65 million. If you're obsessed with Sesko, go and drop the 60, 65 million on the table. You know, surely we have to go for somebody else. Listen, let me put this into context. If Arsenal offered 60 million quid, which is what Fabrizio says, then I think you've offered a decent amount of money. And I have no problem with that. I think the timing of the offer was poor. It should have been sooner. You've left it too late. If it was 45 million, it's an utter disgrace and embarrassment. But we don't know exactly which one it is. But we'll see. We will see, people. But however, I just don't think they've handled the whole situation well. We turned up late. Duran was already 1 foot out the door. It was never really going to happen. Aston Villa were not going to sell both of their strikers. And SG, I said it so many times in the summer. It got to a point people were saying, you're capping for this guy. Why did we not sign Ivan Toney at £40 million? If they're the numbers that you wanted to spend, he's better than anything we've got up front. So It is what it is, people. Sama said Villa are in financial issues. Telegraph are reporting we only offered 42 million. Villa want 80. Arsenal no more. The thing is, I'm looking at it now, 77 million for Duran. You would think that stops any financial issues. They sold Douglas Luiz last summer. They sold Moussa Diaby. Surely Duran. And they're in the next stage of the Champions League. So I think there were some financial issues there. But I think that Duran sale will settle all of that. Sam Bond said Arsenal made a loss of 50 million. Villa a loss of over 110 million. Arsenal make more than double Villa's revenue. Villa needs sales for PSR. Could happen. Like I said, I hear you on that. But I think Duran at 77 million will settle that. Yeah, I've just seen that Galatasaray are on the verge, apparently, of signing Morata. Are they adding him to the squad, or do they think Osimhen is on his way out? That's an interesting one. I would love to see Arsenal have got to go and get somebody else. Ken said he got an attitude problem. He can't handle Ivan Toney, similar to Aubameyang. Just released Gyökeres. Looks like Gyökeres in the summer. Somebody will go for him. But we'll see. We will see, people. Ziyech just left Galatasaray as well. Okay, maybe they just need another attacking player. In terms of Ollie Watkins, good player. Better than what we've got up front. There's no doubt about that. Him being 29 doesn't worry me that much, because I don't look at him and think his game is that heavily built on speed. He's quite strong, little bit quick, decent finisher. With Ollie Watkins, for me, it's like he's better than what we've got. He's not who I would have gone for. However, I do think that he would score goals at Arsenal. I've said this a number of times. Arsenal don't need a world-beating striker. It would be great to have one. But I think a good finisher with good movement and a decent all-round game would score goals at Arsenal. People have to understand, we haven't had a really good striker for a long time. We just haven't. Lacazette, his game was gone by time Arteta got here, really, and got worse. Eddie wasn't good enough. Jesus looked good for the first 6 months. And Havertz isn't good enough. Havertz got, 13 league goals last year? And he's not even an out-and-out striker. I think if Ollie Watkins was in this Arsenal team, he would probably score 20 league goals. And you know me, people, I'm not the biggest fan of Ollie Watkins. I've said this before. I think he's a good player. But he wouldn't be my ideal choice. However, if Arsenal got Watkins in this window, I think it would be a good signing. I think he would score goals for us. I really do. He's got good movement. Holds the ball up well, can finish with both feet, not bad in the air. And he's a boyhood Arsenal fan, but this deal is not going to happen. And this is why I was very sceptical about it last night. I just think they've, I think it's a PR stunt, people. I really do. No replacement for Aubameyang. No, he's never been replaced. South London's Finest said, Sesko in the summer does not move the needle for Arsenal. How long are we and players like Saka and Saliba going to wait for him to fire us to the title? And I agree with you. Even if they go and produce Sesko in the summer, I don't think that wins us the Premier League at the moment. But it's interesting. It is interesting. Will Arsenal make a second offer? Gunnar Neal said, hi Curtis in the chat, I do not believe Watkins is worth over 70 million. Only scored 2 more than Havertz. Only 3 more assists. Not much of an upgrade. The only thing I will say, Neil, and I hear you, look, this season his numbers are not as high, but I do think you have to put into context that now Ollie Watkins is being taken off most games because John Duran's sitting there. If you look at his numbers last season, he got 19 league goals and 13 assists in the Premier League. 32 goal contributions in 37 games. So he's improving. He is improving. He's not the guy that I would go for, but he's certainly better than anything we've got. But I just don't think the deal's going to happen. New Music said, it's very annoying because we've seen this constantly. Half-hearted transfer attempts, last minute, then excuses if we don't end up winning anything. It's horrible to be a pessimist like that when it comes to Arsenal, because in life I like to be an optimist. But we've seen this story over and over again with Arsenal. We get to January, we need players. They hesitate. They say in press conferences it's a difficult window. They make excuses. Then when they know the meltdown's pending, they make offers that are not realistically going to be accepted. Then they say we tried. Then they start linking us with big summer moves. And then we're back to square one. And this is what is going to happen. We've offered for Ollie Watkins. At the most, we will get a loan player. Then they will start linking us to Isak and Sesko until the summer. And then we'll be back to square one, people, unfortunately. So I just don't buy into it, I'm afraid. I don't buy into it. But we'll see. Big up everyone locked in. 2,000 of you in the chat already. Big up the Twitch gang as well. Sam, I said, Osimhen is hard to get into. Don't do payment plans. Inter will want a bag. Otherwise, Osimhen would have been at Arsenal already. Napoli, not Inter. You're right. Napoli are extremely difficult. And the reality is, if it's a release clause, Napoli are probably saying it's all got to be paid up front. Arsenal might not have the money to spend at once. Spending 60 million on a player doesn't mean you're paying 60 million pound for that player at that time. You could be spreading that over 3 or 4 years. So, yeah, Napoli could be saying, yeah, man, you can take Osimhen, 65 million, but, yo, put the money on the table. You know? Where Arsenal probably looking for some layaway Klarna business, you know? Buy now, pay later. But it is what it is. We should be going for an Osimhen or a Gyökeres and just dropping the bag. But who knows? Where will Arsenal move? Now, Ollie Watkins looks very difficult. Obviously, John Duran is doing his medical today in London. That deal's going to happen, I think, relatively quickly. I think they said nearly £300,000 a week for John Duran. Who, by the way, John Duran's getting a lot of criticism online. And I spoke about it yesterday, man. But for me, I think people have to understand sometimes. Number one, when you support a club in the Premier League, you view the Premier League a lot differently to some other people, whether they're fans or players. We think the Premier League is the be-all and end-all. To other players, it's not. Secondly, as well, not every footballer loves football. I've met multiple players. They go, yeah, I don't watch it. I don't really watch football. I'm not that into football. I'm like, bro, you're a Premier League player. Yeah, I play. I'm good at it. I get paid. I enjoy playing, but football... Duran is 21 years of age. He's come from Colombia, went to the MLS, ends up at Villa, 30 grand a week at Villa. Within a year, he's on 60. Within another 6 months, nearly £300,000 a week tax-free for 5 years. £12 million a season. He could go there for 2 years, make 24 million plus bonuses, tax-free, plus a 10% signing on fee of 7 million. He can make over 30 million pounds in 2 years and come back at 23 years of age. I think we have to understand now, because I see ex-footballers and pundits, oh, this guy, he's retired, he's gone to Saudi. Bro, you're looking after a generation of, you know, family there. That's your kids and your grandkids being looked after there. So I don't understand sometimes when people go, oh my God, I can't believe he's gone for money, or he's gone to Saudi, or he's retired and things like that. Bro, he's 21. Go Saudi for 2 years. Pick up your 24 million wages. Pick up your 7 million signing on fee. 23 years of age, 30 million. Yo, I'm ready to come back to Europe. I don't get it. I do not get it. I think it's. I think ex-players are wrong when they call out players for making those decisions. You've got responsibilities, man, you know. Duran was on £2,304 a week in the MLS 2 years ago. Now the man's getting, I think they said 280 grand a week. Come on, man. Get yourself paid. Let me tell you, there is no loyalty in football. If John Duran would have done his ACL, if he'd have had a bad season, or whatever, within a year, 18 months, that guy's getting sold. He's a forgotten man. He's a forgotten man. They were going to sell him to West Ham in the summer. So I think you're spot on. Ex-player, and this happens a lot. I see this with like NBA players, and ex-players are jealous that Saudi wasn't an option for them. Some of these players sit there and they look and they think, oh, I've given 10 years of football to the game, and these guys were playing when the Prem had 20 grand, 30 grand a week. These men are getting 270, 280, tax-free, people. 40% tax in the Premier League. You're on 100 grand a week. You're getting 60 grand a week after tax. These men going Saudi, 280 grand a week. No tax. Take all of it home. Get the bag, my friend. Go and prosper. Feed your kids. Feed your grandkids. and then come back and do whatever you want, man. I respect it. I respect. Yo, I'll go Saudi League, man. I'll go. Division 3. 2, Division 3. I'm sure I can do something. 40% tax, people. Government's taking nearly half of your wages. Doesn't matter if you're earning millions of pounds a year. The government's taking half, nearly half of your wages to put the bins out on a Friday. You know what I'm saying? Nearly half of your wages in this country. I can understand why players are getting out of here, man. 40% to put the bins out. And you're right, look at the country mashup. You know what I mean? 40% tax. Anyway, let's move on. Let's move on, people. Big up Lay, he said, Curtis, you need to start doing watch-alongs for Saudi games. I might do them, you know, I'm telling you. Al Nassr, what, Ronaldo and John Duran. And Ivan Toney and that. Young Nizzle said ex-NBA players are jealous that bench players are making what starters were making for their whole career. The game's the game, man. Let these young bucks go and get the bag, man. 40%, bro. There's no explanation for how the tax is so high in England, yet there's so many problems. It doesn't make sense. But, hey, it is what it is. Go get the bag, man. John Cross has put a story out. 50% including social security. There you go. Half your wages gone, people. Half your wages gone. Would you keep or sell Ricky Martin? In the summer, if there was a big offer, I would consider it. Can I ask you, bro, being an ex-baller yourself, would you at 21 playing for Villa in the Champions League go Saudi? As I was saying, the viewpoint of the Premier League is different for different people. I might view the Premier League very differently to John Duran. And I can't say, you got to look at it. John Duran, number one, realistically, Watkins is first choice, which is why Duran wants to leave. He's on 70 grand a week with 40% tax. He can go and get 280 grand a week. Bro, I would consider it. I'll be totally honest with you. I would consider it. Man's from humble beginnings, bro. Man's offering me 280 bags a week at 21 years of age. You know what I mean? I'm definitely considering it, man. Why not? 2 years. Sign a 5-year deal. After 2 years, I'm cutting. You know what I mean? Trust me, football is ruthless, people. I know we love the sport in its purest form, and I would love to answer that question and go, nah, there's no way I'd go to Saudi. I love the Premier League too much. But I also know that these clubs will turn their back on you at the first chance they get if you're not performing. Football is a meat market, people. Real talk. It looks like a slab of meat coming through. Oh, you're good right now. Everything's great. As soon as stuff goes a bit wrong, they'll get rid of you real quick. So I respect him. Go and get the bag. Look after your family, people. That's my reality. At 21 years of age as well. Jeez, come back to the Prem at 23. You're good, man. What if Villa pull up and get Gyökeres? Yeah, because they're going, all right, Duran, you can go. They ain't just going to sit there and do nothing. So it's... yeah, it is work. And I love football in its purest form. I love the sport. But the game is very political, as you can see, anyway. John Cross, I mean... John Cross is not exactly the guy that you always want to listen to. And I'll be honest, since Wenger left, he hasn't got exactly the same links with Arsenal. But... John Cross said Arsenal are pulling out all the stops to make a deal happen for Matisse Tell, but face major Premier League competition from the likes of Manchester United and Chelsea. Arsenal won't overpay for Ollie Watkins. I mean, John Cross to me has lost credibility inside this fan base a long time ago. He was Arsene Wenger's mouthpiece for transfers. Since Wenger left, John Cross pretty much covers Chelsea. This Matisse Tello, I think, is a live wire. I would take as a squad player, but it's crazy the amount of hype around him. Apparently 7 clubs are trying to sign him. If you get him by himself, I don't think it's enough. I said that yesterday. If you get Tell and then get a striker, we're talking about a good window. If you just get Tell, I'm not going to be hyping up the window. From what we're reading and the reports, it seems that Manchester United are in the driving seat to get him for for whatever reason, maybe he feels he's going to get more first-team football on the left-hand side. He might be looking at Arsenal and going, we've got Martinelli and Trossard. So am I going to play every week? If you look at United, Garnacho and Rashford, they're trying to sell at least one of them. And it's interesting. Is it a loan? Is it a loan with an option, obligation, or a permanent deal? But we'll have to see. I did put a video out yesterday about Matisse Tel. He is a good player. He's exciting. He's quick. But he's a bit raw at the moment, you know. Sources close to the situation say Matisse Tel is waiting to see if Arsenal or United formalise their interest before making a final decision on his destination. Thierry Henry was his manager for France under 21s. He said some stuff about him, saying how exciting he is, how devastating he is in 1v1s against defenders. Plays on the left, can play through the middle as well. He's only 19. I mean, it will be interesting. I don't know. I'm not sure. I would take him if it's a loan deal with like an option to buy, but I still think we've got a bigger priority through the middle. Apparently, Tottenham have sent a delegation over to Germany to try and get the deal done. Obviously, Tottenham are desperate for players at the moment. And maybe Bayern Munich are more interested in a permanent deal now rather than a loan deal. So if Tottenham are prepared to buy him on a permanent, maybe that puts them in the driving seat. But I have to say, people, the window closes on Monday at 11 p.m. I will be going live 3 times on Monday. As we sit here now on Thursday, bear in mind that we play Manchester City this Sunday, I'm very, very concerned about what is happening at Arsenal Football Club. Very concerned, man. Like, we've literally spent 3.5... We've spent 4 weeks of this window not really doing anything. We had a little couple of days of Cunha links, a couple of days of Sesko links. Outside of that, we've done nothing. We've done absolutely nothing. What's this? This intro. Oh, P2G said, I met you last year in a tournament somewhere in Stevenage. Both our kids were playing. I introduced you to Ollie Watkins' agent. If only you saved his number. Yo, I remember that as well, you know. Jeez. I would have never thought, you know. I should have said, yo, brother, give me your number. I'd be on the phone right now. Oh, man. Yeah, big up yourself, man. Hope you're well. Football's a small world, isn't it? Football's a small world. But yeah, man, it's if only I had that number now. Would have been very useful now, right? It would have been very useful. Do you know what was interesting at that same tournament, right? Just to give you a bit of insight. This is how small the football world is, right? At that same tournament. So Arsenal, a few years ago, signed a kid called Leo Messi. Right? I believe he's from Kenya. Young player, a bit of a wonder kid, right? He was training with West Ham. His name was Leo Messi. So I did a stream going, bloody hell, for all these years I've wanted Arsenal to sign Leo Messi and we've signed some kid called Leo Messi. I go to the tournament. Cruz is playing in the tournament. Arsenal are in the tournament. This guy comes up to me, goes, bro, I watch your channel all the time. You did a stream basically dissing my son, and he's playing on the pitch over there for Arsenal, Leo Messi. I was like, yo, no disrespect, man. He was laughing and everything. I said, right, I better be careful, you know what I mean? Throwing out diss tracks. Big up Leo Messi, though, man, if his dad's tuned in. It's just, you know what I mean? I wanted Leo Messi, man. No disrespect. Messi would have been, but nah, big up Messi. Yeah, man, football's a small world, people. Football's a small world. But you got to be careful. You probably get a sponsorship if you started doing more. Trust me, I'm going to start doing Saudi games. Real talk. We're going to do more watch-alongs. I want that Saudi bag as well, man. We got to pick a team. What team we're going to support? Al Nassr or Al Hilal, or who are we going for? Adju said, hey, Curtis, one question. As an influencer spreading false positive spin to the fan base or calling it out as it is, which one is right? Just say what you feel. That's my my problem. Let's go full screen. Get Tell off the screen. We're having And you know what? I don't even like to call myself an influencer. I'm just a football fan on YouTube. You guys know as much as me about the game. You know what I mean? I'm just putting it on a platform. Um, my biggest problem with any fan is using a platform to manipulate people. That's my biggest problem. And I think some Arsenal fans do that. I do. Some of the content creators, I think they do that. And you know what? I don't have a problem with them because they're trying to get paid. Everyone who's on YouTube is trying to put their message out, put their opinion, build a community, and hopefully get paid to do something you enjoy. I've got no problem with that. That's all what we're here for. But I think some of the content creators manipulate the truth to benefit themselves, and that's what I don't like. And people listen to them, and it's fine, but that's what I don't like. That's what I don't like. And people actually sometimes spin it and say I'm doing it. They go, "Oh, you're only criticizing the club for views." No, criticizing the club takes money out of my pocket because the club will never work with me. The club will never have me on their that YouTube show that they do on a match day. Arsenal will never have me on that show. Arsenal won't have me at the training ground. Come here, come and tour the ground. Here's your access. We'll send you the home shirt a week before it comes out. Here's your tickets. Here's your merch. Welcome to the club. The club keep me at arm's distance, bro. The club keep me at arm's length. The only time I get in the press conference when they're on tour because they don't control what media go into the press conference. I don't get no shirts. I don't get no tickets. I don't get no access. I don't get nothing from the club. Nothing. But I'm aware of that. But me, the whole point of setting up the channel was, listen, I'm going to say what I feel about this club. If the club don't like it, so what? I'm not trying to work for the club anyway. So we've all got different aims, people. And I've seen the game from the inside. So I know how clubs can manipulate fan bases by making offers, by putting merch out when there's a feel-good factor around the club. It's got to be a balance. If you're just ranting for the sake of ranting all the time and you're constantly annihilating everyone at the club, then yeah, people are doing it for views as well. But, when the club do well, I'm the first one to say how well the club do. I'm shameless with it. You'll see Havertz and Arteta and them on the green screen. The next day I'm saying get rid of them, But is what it is. Big up for the super chat. TV1 said I have a massive problem with them, Curtis. They are not telling the truth and hurting my club in the process. Some of them are old enough to know better as well. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Pat said, Big C, they even sent me a scarf. Yeah. Guna said better to be independent. Guna knew. Listen, 100%. You go and work for the club, you're compromised. I'm actually glad that I'm not involved with the club in that sort of way because you're going to feel compromised. I can't criticize him because I've got to see him at work tomorrow. I'd rather stay here, man. I'd rather stay here. If a player's bad, I'm going to tell you he's terrible. If the manager ain't performing, I'm going to say it. So I'd rather be here, man. Stay independent, people. You know what I mean? Like I said, the last 2 years, they told me to print a name on the shirt. I said, no, I'm good. I'll walk out with no name on the shirt. Alex says, big up from Kentucky. Big up, bro. I'm assuming you mean the place in America rather than the chicken shop. It's a bit early in the day for KFC, I can't lie. But nah, big up yourself, man. Big C, you're very emotional and reactionary, but you are fair and give credit and criticism when needed. On a match day, I'll be totally honest. I'll just give you the breakdown. On a match day, especially for an important game, I'm like... I'm hyped. I feel like I'm about to go in a boxing match. Like, come on. I feel like I'm going on the pitch myself. So sometimes the reactions are just raw, people. You know what I mean? It's just raw. Like, after the game, I'm calm. I'm a very calm person. It's just Arsenal bring out a crazy side to me. It's Arsenal, people. You've all been there. Sitting next to your Man United friend and going on your phone and going, oh, what's this breaking news? Oh, Robin Van Persie signed for Man United. And your Man United friend is sitting there looking at you going, you've just sold your best player to us. That does things to you as a football fan. Let me tell you, people. If you're old enough and you experience those things, you understand. Those things drive you crazy, people. I told you, this is the Truman Show. It's the Truman Show in real life. Anyway, I've been waffling. Stevenage Guna said 50 plus years supporting Arsenal. I've never sugarcoated anything. If they're bad, I'll admit it. That's why I love this channel. Facts and BS, you say it as it is. I try, my friend. I try. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. But anyway, let's move on. You are entertaining, but I can see why the club are not your friend. They don't need to be. I don't need friends. You know, I don't need Arsenal to be my friend. I'm good. I'm good, you know. Anyway, let's move on. Let's quickly. I actually forgot that we played last night. The transfer stuff has kind of caught up on everything that's happening. I hope it starts to kick into gear. Tomorrow, by the way, just to keep you updated. So tomorrow, I'm probably going to do the Champions League draw. Even though Arsenal are not in it, we're going to be affected by what's happening. So I'm probably going to do the Champions League draw as a quick live stream. I'll then be live around 2 o'clock for my usual stream, press conference reaction. We'll look ahead to Manchester City. And then around 4 or 5 in the afternoon, it'll be OGs with Turkish over on his channel. So make sure you stay locked in for tomorrow. Pre-recorded preview will be out on Saturday, looking into a bit more detail about the Man City game, and then the Man City watch-along on Sunday. And then on Monday, transfer deadline day, 3 streams on Monday, 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, and 1 in the evening. So just trying to keep you up to date. I'm not sure, is the draw at 11 a.m. or is it 12 p.m.? Champions League draw. Actually not sure what time it is. Champions League draw. I think it's 12. Is it 12 p.m.? I think it's 12 p.m. Oh, 11 a.m. UK time. 11 a.m. UK time. Champions League draw. So we'll be doing that. Anyway, let's talk about last night's game. Again, not another classic. I'm not going to harp on about it for too long, to be honest. Not worth watching the highlights. Probably just watch the Ethan Nwaneri goal. And apart from that, there's not a lot to watch in the game. We got the job done in the end. And man said the hairliners OGs. Yo, I'm telling you, man, give it another year. I might have to get the discount code off Turkish, man. I'm hanging on. Is he gonna do the show with no hat on? Let's see. And I think he did the big 6, didn't he, with his hat off? Crazy. But anyway, Girona against Arsenal. By the way, Turkish is live in about 20 minutes, so I'm going to redirect to him at the end of this show, man. So, yeah. Girona 1, Arsenal 2. Danjuma with the goal. And then Jorginho and Ethan Nwaneri for Arsenal. Nwaneri's goal was brilliant. But there were some performances that we're going to talk about that were not so good. And I think you know who they are. Well, let's get into player ratings. Arsenal won 2-1, 61% possession, 16 shots. Let's talk about, I think really probably only 3 performances that were like, yo, what is going on? The rest were okay. Maybe 4. Neto, 35 years of age, making his debut for Arsenal. You would think at the age of 35, as an experienced player that's played for Barcelona, Valencia, played in the Premier League, you'd think maybe he would know the rules of football. You're an experienced goalkeeper. Juventus, Fiorentina, Valencia, Barcelona, Bournemouth and Arsenal. Hell of a career. Can somebody tell him you can't save the ball with your hands outside of the penalty area, Neto? You are a goalkeeper. You're supposed to handle it in the area. What is he doing? His name's Norberto Neto. They should call him Norbit Neto. Norbit. Do not sign that guy on a permanent basis. We wanted Pedro Neto. We got Norbert Neto. What the hell was he doing? To be fair, after the mistake, he played pretty well. But I'm sorry, mate. We waited all that time for you to play. I'm giving him 2 out of 10. It was shambolic. It was a comedy act. The man's outside of the area. First of all, why are you running outside the area? Second of all, why are you diving to save it? Imagine he tips that wide. Oh, great save by Neto. Oh, but he's been sent off. Oh, my. David Raya, please tell me you are fit for Sunday. Crazy. He's 35 years of age. He was a decent keeper back in the day. He's not that guy anymore. I'm sorry. I'll give him a 3 out of 10 for sympathy. But what was he doing? He cost us the goal. He didn't need to come running out like that. Man thought he was playing a different sport. He's playing paddleboard or something. Let's go to the... I'm not even going to say the right back because he isn't a right back. He shouldn't be playing right back. And he got split apart from a through ball from the other half. Thomas Partey, and he got dragged at half time. I think that is 2 wins out of 7 with Partey at right back. Like, are you not going to learn that this guy is not a right back? You know, you put your hand on the radiator as a kid and you go, yo, ow, man, yo, that's hot. You take your hand off it. You don't put your hand back on the radiator 2 seconds later until it burns. Let it burn, let it burn. I'm twisted because one side of me is telling me that I need to move on. On the other side, I want to break down and, ooh. Usher Raymond settings, man. What's going on? Let it burn. Get this guy out of right back. He can't play right back. What more do you need to see? Got me singing Usher on a Thursday afternoon, people. What's going on? Partey can't play there. Got split open by the through ball. Out of sympathy, I'll give him 4 out of 10. Get him off the pitch. I'm telling you, dragged him, gave him his slippers and an Ovaltine. Jeez, how much more do we need to watch this guy at right back before we realise he can't play right back? Let's talk about Jakub Kivior. Got done once, we nearly conceded. Apart from that, he wasn't too bad, but still, I'm sorry. Udinese, Torino, Lazio, Parma, Sampdoria, AC Milan, Inter Milan, Napoli, Juventus. Is anybody out there in Italy? We've got a rescue mission. Italiano, when the munizione Calafiore. Somebody come and sign Kivior, please. Just end it. End the stream. Lecce, Venezia, anybody. Come sign this brother Kivior, man. He's not that guy, man. He's never been that guy. It's the Polish Rob Holding, man. Seriously. Anybody in Italy, come and sign him. 5 out of 10. Made one mistake. Apart from that, he was steady. But get him out. He's not good enough. Gabriel Magalhaes, 200 games for Arsenal. Might sound harsh, people. Get the armband off Odegaard and give it to him. That's the skipper. That's the skipper. He's just a beast. 7 out of 10. Easy night's work for him. The guy's just class. Palermo, yeah. Any of them clubs, man. Calafiore, I thought was solid. Again, I'll give him a 7 as well. I thought Calafiore played pretty well yesterday. He wasn't tested, let's be honest. But he was steady. Polish Rob Holding, bro. I'm telling you. No joke thing. Jorginho. Hop, skip, and a jump penalty. I said a hip, hop, a hippity, hoppity, don't stop. I'm telling you now, some old school hip-hop settings, man. Good penalty for Jorginho. I'll give him a 7. Good pen. I need an explanation. I'm asking the community. I'm leaning on the community here. I need an explanation about our £35 million dual monster winning midfielder that we spent 2 months chasing. And every minute, this dual winning monster's rolling around on the floor. Yeah, we're going to need red stripe. Loads of it. Just leave him in Spain. Leave him in Spain, honestly. You know, like you leave the rubbish out on a Friday? Just leave Marino in Spain. Jump on the coach, speed off to the airport, Barcelona airport, fly back home, rip up his passport so he can't come back to London. Let him sign for Girona. Marino, bro. Honestly, you're making Xhaka look like a Ballon d'Or winner. I want a Xhaka out of this football club for 5 years. I'd pay 50 million to get Granit Xhaka back in this club. If the club bought Xhaka back for 50 million now, I'd celebrate. He is 10 times better. This guy's one of the slowest centre mids I've ever watched. Dan Marino, San Marino, Mikel Marino. Looks like he's running in quicksand. Awful footballer. Not built for the Prem. Would I give Neto 3? I'll give him 3 out of 10. He's awful. Awful player. Oh, mate, he looks like he can't run. I'd rather play Jorginho. He looks like he can't run whatsoever. He looks knackered all the time as well. Awful player, Marino. Squad player at best. Jorginho's better than Marino. And Jorginho's at the back end of his career. Real talk. A 3 might be sympathetic, by the way. I was going to give him a 2. Martin Odegaard, Snottergaard. Still can't kick a ball with any power. Took a shot last night. Looked like he'd broke his foot. Didn't want to take the penalty. Shouldn't have wore the armband either. Should have left Gabriel with it. He's the real captain. 5 out of 10. 5 out of 10, mate. Skipper has not played well, really. Came back after the ankle injury. First couple games, did well. After that, he's been poor, mate. I'm sorry. Yeah, I agree. Drops too deep to get the ball. Play higher up the pitch, man. What is going on? Again, this is what happens when you've got no competition. Players can put in consistent poor performances and nothing's going to happen. I thought he was awful. In fact, I'm gonna itch it down to a 4. 5's too high. What did he do yesterday? Can't even kick a ball. It's like he's kicking a brick. Looks like he's broke his foot. Let's get it out the way. Welcome to Jamrock. Camp where the tugs them can done. 2 pound a weed in a van back. I mean, listen, at this point, my brother, you know, let me talk to you on a real. I respect the game. You've won multiple Premier Leagues. You won FA Cups. You won League Cups. You've had an illustrious career. You're a multi-million pound. Respect, bro, for the culture. But let me tell you something right now. Lock it off. You know when the lights come on in the nightclub, Candy comes on, it's like Candy, and you start doing the, and let this party now. It's the same feeling. You know when the lights come on and that tune comes on, you know the party lock off. Next 5 minutes, you got to leave. Raheem Sterling, the party's done. The lights are on. We're sponsored by Fly Emirates. I'm sure you can get a discount. Heathrow, and drop him off in Saudi. End the stream. The man lifted his head up in the dark and said, "You haven't seen the best of me yet." Brother, we seen the best of you 6 years ago at Manchester City when Kevin De Bruyne was performing miracles, putting crosses into the back post you couldn't miss. What the hell is going on with this guy? Who space jammed him? He can't kick the ball. He's cutting inside, kicking the ball. The ball's rolling at about 2 miles an hour. Him and Odegaard doing shooting practice. And then to make it worse, they give the man a sympathy penalty. And you missed it. It's like going to your nan's. You go to your nan's on a Sunday. You say, "Yeah, man, let me go and see my nan." And you as a kid, and you know, listen, when I'm going home, nan's probably going to give me a little bit of money. And nan gets her purse out. You're like, "Yeah, man, nan's getting the purse out. Yo, she's giving me £5, you know, I'm happy with that." Nan gives you a fiver, and then you've lost it on the way home. You've lost it. You got a sympathy penalty and didn't even accept the sympathy, brother. What more can we do for you? Even Havertz scored the sympathy penalty at Bournemouth. Send him back to Chelsea and continue to pay the wages. We can't cancel the loan deal, people. We have to pay the wages. We're obligated to pay £100,000 a week to the end of the season. Yo, brother, we're going to pay the 100 bags. You're going back to Chelsea. You can't help us. There's nothing you can do. Yeah, you play good music on the training ground. There's nothing he can do for us. Raza, what is going on here, bro? This is a 4 times Premier League winner. It's done. Football's left him. It's left him, man. He can't find that no more. I can't believe what I'm watching. How has he fell off that much, Raheem Sterling? But brother, I gotta give him a 1. I give him a 1. I give him 1 out of 10 just because you made the flight. I said last night, let him swim home. Let him swim back. Marino, leave him in Spain. Neto, send him to Brazil. Sterling, he's a London boy, so by right, we'll leave you with the passport, but swim back, bro. You ain't getting on the plane. This can't run. We can't keep getting bumped by Chelsea like this. Make him swim. Make him swim back, man. Nah. It's a joke. Bro, do you want me to tell you the worst point of that game for Raheem Sterling? You guys are going to say, what? Missing the penalty. At the end of the game, I saw Nwaneri consoling him. Nwaneri's 17, Raheem Sterling's 30. He could be his uncle. And you're being consoled by the young buck. Yo, don't worry, Raheem. I'm sure you'll be all right. Brother, you could be his uncle. Uncle Razza. It was a sad sight, man. Leandro Trossard, steady, hit the bar, 6 out of 10. Wasn't great, wasn't terrible. Ethan Nwaneri, though, bro. Ethan Nwaneri. I think we got a live one here, people. I think we've got one here. We found another star. This kid, this lad's special, man. I don't care. We could see it in pre-season, but he's took it. He's fearless. Look at the way he finished that chance. Robin, Saka-esque. Far corner. Boom, boom. Bap. Left foot. Far bottom corner. New star boys in town, people. Forget Martinelli on the right. Forget Raheem Sterling on the right. All of that. The right-hand side replacement has arrived. He's been here, people. Ethan Nwaneri, 17 years of age. Let me tell you something. Start this guy against Manchester City on Sunday. Don't get nervous. Oh, he's 17. I can't put him in a game of this magnitude. I said it the other day. In central areas, he's not as good as he is out wide because he wants to dribble. Gets in 1v1 situations out wide. It suits him. Centrally, sometimes he loses the ball a little bit, runs into the traffic. 9 out of 10 man of the match. Give him a better squad number as well. I agree with you, Stove. 53, move on from that youth team number, man. Give him a proper number now. Guy's a star, people. Him and Miles Lewis-Skelly, probably the biggest positives of the season for me. Probably the biggest positives. Who even came off the bench? Skelly, Rice, Havertz, Timber, Martinelli. I can't hardly remember anything that any of them did. Just give them all a 5.5, 6. The game was boring anyway. What I quickly want to talk about, because you lot are just telling me, by the way, that there's a bomber from Fabrizio. And, I mean, it's not Arsenal news. I mean, it's related, but it's not good. Fabrizio saying Tottenham and Matisse Tell talks on a permanent deal. More to follow. I mean, talk about kicking a man while he's down. I mean, Ollie Watkins bid rejected. Then they're telling us it's not 60, it's 45. Duran goes to Saudi. We're chasing Matisse Tell. John Cross is capping, saying that we're going to get him. And you're telling me this guy's on his way to dusty Tottenham? This guy's going for a cheeky Nando's on a Thursday instead of coming to the illustrious Gunners. What are we doing here, people? What are we doing here? To be honest, I wouldn't want Tell on a permanent, you know. I wanted him on loan with an option. I didn't really want Arsenal to commit a lot of money to him because I'm not sure how good he is in the Premier League. But it doesn't look good if we're interested in him and them lot get him. I mean, what the hell's going on? Man United and Arsenal want him and he ends up at Tottenham. It seems to be because they want to buy him on a permanent. Tottenham are prepared to invest on Matisse Tell. Spurs have informed Bayern they're ready to pay the 60 million euros. We're not going to get him. There's no way we're going to pay 60 million euros for him. But, yeah. 60 million. Tell and his agent are taking their time on a decision. Yeah. Tottenham seem like they're prepared to pay the money and get him straight away rather than getting him on loan. I personally, for 60 million euros, I'm not buying Tell for 60 million euros. I've got to be honest. We can spend the money better, but we need to spend the money instead of saying we tried, you know. But we'll see. SJ said this bid stinks of We Tried FC. That was the Ollie Watkins one. Dotty Biggs, Big C, can we have a compilation of your biggest rages? Yelling at a player saying you should be an Armani model is one of the funniest things ever. I'd have to go back through the streams. I've probably ranted that many times about players. But yeah, I'll try. Gibb said, C, how would you advise a bro who has been dumped by a girl at 7 a.m. here and the brother is already drinking? He is devastated. He is listening. Bro, you know what? That initial pain, yeah, we've all been there. It hurts. It hurts, but you know what you have to do? You have to level up. You got to level up, bro. Level up yourself. So you get in the gym. You get your money right. You focus on yourself. So the problem with a lot of guys, they chase after girls. Spend loads of money, right, to get girls and impress girls. Well, you got to be the thing that girls are attracted to. Handle your business, you know? And that's when you don't have to work as hard, bro. And then if one goes, you say, yeah, man, good. Yo, relax, I'm good. But, yo, you don't want to be drinking at 7 a.m. But I respect it. Homer Simpson settings, you know. He's got the beer out early. I respect it. But you're good, man. You're good, bro. Lock in. You're right. Tell him, Stove. Lock in. Community will guide you, man. Community will guide you. There's plenty in the comments, man, who know what they're talking about as well. You're good, man. You're good. Don't worry. Just level up. Today you're drinking. Tomorrow, get in the gym. Rebuild. And let her know, yo, you made a mistake. But anyway, Samaz, their striker said they're targeting just one player. Partey, I think everyone in the Prem knows that. Ethan should play up front. Their striker said they're targeting just one player. Partey, I think everyone in the Prem knows Ethan should play up front. I don't know about Ethan up front, you know. I think he could get... Them defenders would cause him problems. And Bajan said, we transition too slow. We invite the low block. You're right. Very, very slow in transition, which is a big problem for us. That's the end of today's show, people. That's the end of today's show. Big up to everyone for locking in. Obviously, in the Champions League, actually, before I do round up, this is who we can get in the Champions League draw because of the way it's all set. And we'll do the Champions League watch along tomorrow. Arsenal's potential Champions League round of 16 opponents: AC Milan, PSV, Feyenoord or Juventus. Without being disrespectful, I would rather get one of the two Dutch sides just because of the heritage with Juventus and AC Milan. You know, sometimes that heritage kicks in, man. A Tuesday night at the San Siro, anything can happen, man. You know, it can become difficult. Leao's going wild and, you know, you just don't know. You don't know what's going to happen. So, you know, I definitely don't want Arsenal to have that sort of pressure of having to beat one of them. But even if we do get one of them, we've got to beat them. But PSV, probably the weakest. Feyenoord are not bad, obviously. Santiago Jimenez. Juve and Milan have a lot of heritage. And the away leg would be a little bit nerve-wracking. But if we get one of the two Dutch teams, would be a lot better. But we'll do the Champions League draw tomorrow. I believe it's 11 a.m. UK time. So look out. Keep your notification bell switched on for that. We obviously know that Manchester City are guaranteed to get either Bayern Munich or Real Madrid. I hope Man City get Real Madrid. But either one of those two ties are very difficult. We obviously want a few of the big clubs to get knocked out. So the draw is quite complicated, but we'll figure it out tomorrow. It works like the sort of NBA where the team who's obviously finished at the top of that little mini group will get one of the teams at the bottom. So it's the top two against the bottom two, and then it's a draw of those four teams. So it's interesting. I think it's said that the top 8 teams that have qualified, when they go into the last 16, all of the top 8 teams get the home leg in the second leg. I believe that's the case because we're classed as the seeded teams. So you get the home leg as the second game as well, so which does benefit you moving forward as well. So we will see how that works out. So I'll be live tomorrow at 11 a.m. for the Champions League draw, and then I'll be live again at 2 p.m. We'll preview the Man City game, press conference reaction, and all of that stuff. And yeah, we will go from there. Carl Regal said, give Nwaneri 14, or is Nketiah coming back on loan? Get a superstar to get that 14 shirt, man. But give Nwaneri a better number. Give Nwaneri a better number. But listen, the draw will be very interesting tomorrow. Let's see what happens. I'm redirecting to Turkish. He's going live now. So get over there and support him. He's doing one of his one-on-one shows. He's going to be talking about Watkins and all that. I'll be live with Turkish tomorrow afternoon about 4, 5 o'clock. We'll be doing OGs. So I'm going to redirect to him. 11 a.m. tomorrow, Champions League draw. I'll be live. 2 p.m. I'll be back. Press conference reaction. We'll look ahead to the Man City game, see what Arteta says. And hopefully we'll have some developing transfer news maybe around Ollie Watkins or maybe somebody else. Don't forget, go and check out the video that I did earlier today with Ben Jacobs, where he gives a little bit more detail about some of these transfers. Big up to everyone locked in. Enjoy your Thursday. Take care. And I'll see you all tomorrow, people. Bless.